Loved it. Actually, I could use this right now. I have travel coming up and I was looking for eSIM options. Awesome. All right, next up is one of my favorite titles. A lot of you are students here, and if when I was in college, I wish I knew how a journey of a developer would look like in Ethereum. What are the mistakes to be made rather than testing things out myself. But lucky for you, we have a panel of that coming up right now. So please give it up for Manoj, Austin, Gautam, and Apoorv. Give a round of applause.
Awesome. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Hey everyone. Thanks for joining us for this interesting panel discussion on a student's journey in Ethereum. But before we get started, I know that a lot of you had a heavy lunch and like you've been sitting on a lot of technical talk. So let's try and get the energy up a little before we get started, right? Can I get all of y'all to maybe stand up? Yeah, let's all do that. Let's all stand up. Yeah, shake our legs a little. Yeah, maybe clap once. Once more. Okay, awesome. Let's get straight to it then. Yeah. Hopefully that made you guys feel a little more awake. Okay, before we get started, I hate the word panel for a session like this because it just assumes that we're going to keep talking amongst ourselves and you're here to listen. But I would like to think of this more like a town hall where we want you all to raise your hands and ask questions and make this as interactive as possible. Because this panel is really for you guys, for you to understand what a journey for a student like you in Ethereum is, and it's for you to ask all your questions and get all your answers. So maybe before we start, should we just do a round of introductions for all the panelists, and we can just go around sharing how we got started in Ethereum and what we're doing right now. Yeah, we can start from.
Hello everyone, I'm Apoorv.eth. I'm a smart contracts developer at Flaunch Protocol. So we build tokenized platform on top of Uniswap V4 hooks on the base blockchain. So I've been a smart contracts developer full time, and on the side, I build open source tools on this. So one of my popular ones is impersonator.xyz or Swiss knife. So these are more on the developer tooling side. So whenever I find some issue or any step takes a lot of clicks, so I create a script and then publish it as an open source tool. And I just make it open source so that anyone can use it for free. And I just get some grants for it. So that's my main thing.
I'm Austin Griffith. I work at the EF. I do developer growth. I got started in this space building games and doing DevRel for ETH. My big focus is just, developer growth basically works when the price goes up. When people think they could get rich, they come in and start building on Ethereum, and then they get in and learn that it's harder. But my job is to catch them when they kind of orbit by. So I have things like Speedrun Ethereum and Scaffold.eth that we showed earlier, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Gautam. I'm one of the co-founders of Polynomial. Polynomial is a platform which lets you trade with leverage. So suppose you have $100, you can open a $10,000 position on ETH or BTC or any other asset, and you can make it it's basically betting on the price. And we do this using a crypto native tool called Perpetual Futures, and it's also a layer 2 on top of Ethereum. Yeah, I've been in this. We started this company in 2021, and I've been in this space in 2018. And yeah, I started one of these events. I went to do a hackathon, and then I ended up where I am. So yeah, that's who I am.
Well, everyone, this is Manoj. I'm a final year student at IIT Delhi. My journey started with participating in hackathons. Yeah, those big bounty numbers that really make me take part in it. And then I started liking the consensus mechanisms. I deep dived into it. Then I saw the cryptography part and also the EIPs and the discussions that happened on the ETH research forum. It very much interested me. And then I started diving into ZK. Like it happened to be the launch of the very first ZK VMs, the time I entered the space. And from then I'm on the ZK side.
Nice, awesome. Thank you all for those introductions. So before we get started, just to make sure we calibrate, the questions correctly, can I ask how many of you in this room are a student currently? Yeah, I know everyone likes to think that you're a student all throughout their life, but I guess how many of you have the .edu email that qualifies you to be a student? Right. Okay. Wonderful. And how many of you are like leaders of either like developer societies or like blockchain clubs or like any club in general in your university? Okay, that's quite a few of you, like a fair number.
You should be emailing us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can always like hit us up at university.ethereum.foundation.
University at Ethereum.foundation. I saw a lot of hands over there. Get in the email. Let's talk.
Yeah. Awesome.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
No, of course. No, that's important plug. Yeah. And how many of you have never heard of the word Ethereum before? Or maybe today you would have heard of Ethereum, but like how many of you consider yourselves to be absolute beginners and want to just learn more? Okay, it looks
We got
like
some brave hands back there. Way to go.
Yeah. No, but it looks like we have a fairly great audience. So maybe the first question that I'd like to ask is, to Austin. So when you're a student, from your perspective, and you have like just some basic curiosity on what Ethereum is about, but you have no idea where to start. Like as the person who invented DevRel in Ethereum space, like where do you think is the best place for people to start, and like what is the best first or like second thing that they can do to really plug themselves into the Ethereum space?
I think the thing that captures a lot of people is when did this during my talk, but when someone sends them like $10 of crypto, someone I was just talking to was like, you sent me my first ENS address. We do that a lot. We like to find a good student and find them an ENS address. And once you have an ENS address or a little bit of crypto and you see it fluctuating in your wallet, you just have this urge to figure out how this thing works. And once you have the urge to figure out how it works, you start like learning just a little bit, and then you realize there's so much to learn and you kind of go down the rabbit hole. So just like holding some crypto, I think, is like one of the first pills. And you're like, well, what is crypto and why? And then why decentralization? Why is that important? And you kind of start to go down the rabbit hole. Seeing a smart contract for the first time. I forgot to show the WETH contract when I was doing my demonstration earlier, but when you see like these 15 lines of code, and these 15 lines of code have an address, and that address holds $11 billion. It's kind of neat to see as like a coder or a computer science student to understand that like this chunk of code is like an entity that has money and can send and receive money, and there's 11 freaking billion dollars in it. Like that's really interesting as a student or as a coder that like I'm programming money literally. So I think holding it and getting the first like grips on programming it are probably like the edge of the rabbit hole, I think.
Nice. That's awesome. Great. So just building on that a little more, Apoorv, you mentioned that you're a Solidity engineer and you love writing smart contracts. I guess the biggest challenge that people face is to really understand what a smart contract even is and have the right mental model on like how these things basically power applications on Web3. So what, in your words, is the right way of thinking about all about dApps, about smart contracts, and just applications in general?
Yes. So like a smart contract is an immutable code that you deploy once on a blockchain. And the best analogy is like a vending machine. So if I take an example of Uniswap, so Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. So it's not like Binance or anything, or everything's public on the blockchain. There's 2 tokens in the pool, and it works on the basis of the predefined code. So everyone can verify the code on-chain, and no one can modify it once it's deployed. So you can see that there's a predefined set of instruction that the code has to follow. So you say like, I want to sell 1 ETH and receive some like 3,000 USDC. So the code would each time follow that particular path, and then you will receive that. So there are so many different like decentralized applications that follow that logic. So you have a smart contract and everything's public there, and you don't have to like worry about whether the assets are safe or not. So like in case of centralized banks, the entire thing is behind the like their walls, so you don't know if the funds are actually there or not, because they work on like fractionalized finance. So but in the case of blockchain, the code runs everything. So like some people say like code is law, because if the code says anything, the no one like any centralized entity can't like stop it or like prevent you from interacting with that particular protocol. So that's my like understanding of the smart contracts.
And for a person who's fluent in Web 2 and they want to just get more like their hands dirty on more Solidity smart contracts, what do you think is like the best way to make that transition? And
Yeah, so I think in terms of language, Solidity is not that much complex. Like if you know JavaScript, there's like similar keywords for like if, else, for loops and everything, but you need a basic knowledge of blockchain, like how does a transaction work on the blockchain, but you don't need to know the underlying knowledge of like the Ethereum consensus protocol or anything like that, but you need to know certain basic things, so like how you can get a MetaMask wallet, how you can get funds from the faucet, and once you know that, then you can write a simple like hello world contract. So there's certain keywords that you need to learn, but once you learn those, then building on top of it is quite easy. But like if you need like a production level smart contract, then there are a lot of places for like bugs and stuff. But if you like have a product in mind, then you can create a basic proof of concept easily. And like, yeah, I like taking parts in hackathons. So like if someone's a newbie, they want to learn their stuff, so they can like take part in hackathons, build something, and that's quite a good learning place.
Awesome. So Gautam, we were talking earlier, and you seem to have a lot of spicy and hot takes. So I guess this is the perfect question for you. I guess back in like 2018 or like even before that, when every time someone said the word smart contract, like the only solution that existed out there was Ethereum. But now I guess there's like many other like platforms. So in your word, why should people care about Ethereum, or like rather should they care only like should they care about Ethereum in the first place, or and if the answer is yes, why do you think they should care about Ethereum over like other smart contract platforms?
As a student,
as any dev who's trying to build their expertise in programming smart contracts.
I think like primarily it goes on to like what is blockchain for, and I strongly believe that it is a great tool for storing value. Like with the internet, like we have all information as data packets, and we have all values as tokens, and that is how it is. And if you look at all the tokens in all the chains, Ethereum has the largest amount of it, right? The coolest thing about Ethereum is that you can take literally $5 billion, deposit into a product like Aave, and you can earn like 6%, 7% on it, which is far higher than like what a normal institution would give, and it is like relatively low risk. So that kind of scale and that kind of process is not really available anywhere. So I think like when you look at whole like these kind of things, like you go to DeFi Llama, you can just check out all the products. The top ones all are in Ethereum, because if you are on Ethereum, you can make $100 billion or a $1 billion product if your product is really good within like a month or two, which is like I think like it's kind of unheard of like in almost all the other things. I think like a close second are like maybe Base and Solana, but like Ethereum is like far ahead in this, and it happens like every month, right? You can just go and see like every month there is like a new product which nobody thought like you would want to make, and somebody thought it was like a cool idea to make, and it just happened. And like one of the nice things that like I saw recently was like some of my friends, like they made like a product and they let you like swap through things. Like they converted their lending protocol where they made their liquidation into a swap, which is like a tiny innovation. So what that means is like swaps were cheaper. So they started like integrating with other products without even having a UI, and they were doing like $200-300 million in volume within a month or something, which is like you just need to come up with a very good algorithm, you come up with a very good idea, and you need to really understand how these things work, which is often difficult. But there is not that many fair places where you can just make a better algorithm and you can just get like so much value provided into a single place. So that's why.
Great, awesome. So if we shift gears a little and take one step back, especially for all the club leads in the room and aspiring club leaders in the room. So Manoj, IIT Delhi's BlockSoc, I guess, is one of the more mature blockchain societies in universities in India. So what are your key learnings when it comes to cultivating a developer society in your university, and what do you think people can learn from your journey and your process?
Well, I would say bootstrapping a dev community in university is very much tricky because it has some innate problems that comes up with. Every year the team changes, there will be a new administrative team, there will be new developers who join the team. So the transient periods is what the crucial things will be the crucial things for the leaders of a blockchain club to handle well. If there is a transient period, if there are let's get through a scenario. See, if there are really good developers in the fourth year in the administrative team, and they hired a new team from the second year, which we usually do here, and within the next 6 months, the fourth year team will graduate and leave the college. So all the second year students that are there needs to be trained well in terms of the culture of the club, in terms of the technology part, and enough number of connections should be transferred from the administrative team to the new dev team that has been hired. So if any of these part is not managed well, then what we end up is with something of a very tricky situation where things can't move forward or backward. We end up with doing just some sort of events and not the technical sessions or else the technical aspirations that might not be met. So it comes on as if let's say the aspirations might be to have the best technical club, at least in the university, for the blockchain. But the transient period has been a bit rough that we ended up only doing the events once. So it could be the worst case outcome for any club. I'm not talking about the blockchain clubs in general, but for any student club. So what I would say to do is that focusing on the transitions and transferring, doing proper KT, is the best part that any lead can implement for their clubs, so that they would be actually technical rather than anything else.
So I guess one thing that I'm hearing is that there should be a resource that every new leader can sort of use to get themselves up to speed on the technology itself. And that's why Austin and his wonderful team at Bill Gill have spent a lot of time building speed on Ethereum, Scaffold.eth, and other tools. So I guess that's the answer in some sense. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. So next question is for all three of y'all. So one thing that students always keep in the back of their head is how do I get recognized in the space? How do I stand out from the rest? And what do people look at when they're hiring someone, when they're closely going to collaborate with someone? And as a student, what can they do to really make themselves shine? So yeah, I would love all three of your perspectives on that.
My personal perspective is you should be able to make money by going to hackathons. I remember I have made thousands of dollars in college with hackathons. I think I remember particularly while during my placement season, all my friends said it was a stupid idea, but I got into ETH Berlin or something, and then I went there, and I missed placements, but it was kind of one of the best experiences of my life because at that time I met maker team, all that kind of people, and that was kind of very interesting. And so I tried to go there and I went there and then I failed and it kind of pissed me off. So I tried to do the next time and I went on ETH Paris and I got $1,000 and that paid for all the flights, all that things. But when you're a kid and you're in college and you can make money, it is a lot of motivational thing, right? That, I think primarily that was the main motivator for me, at least in the start. But yeah, I think that's kind of how you do it. I think going to hackathons, building stuff, launching products, that's how I learned things. Yeah, that's general. And also using stuff, if you get $1,000, then you put it in something, it might grow a bit. But yeah, it's a loop. All you need is to just take a leap and then a whole thing will happen. But the start is the hard part.
I think +1 on building lots of things. I think even though crypto Twitter is pretty gross, you have to just be active on crypto Twitter. You need to build a whole bunch of things. Like everyone knows Apoorv from all the things he builds. And when he goes to post something on Twitter, everyone already knows about him. And they know he's about to post some banger about something he built, and it's going to be some useful tool that people can use. And he's built up that reputation over years of shipping things. And so while crypto Twitter is gross, while it's hard to ship things, while maybe you'll ship things that no one uses, you just have to keep putting stuff on main and tweeting about it and showing it off and going to hackathons and building things and rubbing shoulders with people there.
Yes. So like in crypto, we don't use LinkedIn much. There's always crypto Twitter. So I focus on increasing your like crypto Twitter like following. And so each time you create a new tool, you can share with the existing audience. And there's like a nice feedback loop. So if you are scrolling crypto Twitter, you see some problems some other users are facing. And because of the nature of the entire blockchain stuff being open source, you can just tap into the existing code base, fork it, and create a new tool on top of it. So what I did was like, I'm like active in several like Discord communities and stuff. So there was some token that was launched and there was some airdrop, but there wasn't like an official UI. So I just quickly coded up. And now with AI and stuff, you can easily vibe code it. And it's so easy to just deploy it on Vercel and gain a new traction. So like if you are in niche communities, you can build tools for them and they would share it on their platforms. So that's a nice stuff. And like you should be in touch with like new EIPs and ERCs because they don't have any new, like the end users can easily interact with them because they're still in a technical phase. But if you understand them well, you can create a tool for it. And that's how I gain knowledge. And even if you are like browsing blogs and stuff, if you learn something new, you can implement that in your own way, or like just sharing a new thought process regarding that. And like that's how you just keep on creating new content.
Can I add a spicy take also? I think that like college degrees don't matter. Sorry. I think that when someone goes to hire a new Solidity engineer at Uniswap, maybe they look, but generally what they're looking for is like, can you build stuff and are you smart and stuff like that. And so I think that to get into Twitter, you just can go build a bunch of things, but also pieces of paper don't matter. Like what you build is what matters, and there's no gatekeeping. Almost everything is open source. The issues that people are having are right there in GitHub. You can go there and you can start solving those issues and people will recognize you right away. Get into open source repos, build things in those open source repos, find needs of people and build those things for those people and tweet about them. And that's the kind of thing that will get you hired rather than like a degree.
Yeah, I agree. No degree required.
What a perfect thing to say in one of India's most premier universities in the seminar hall right here in front of a bunch of youngsters.
But it doesn't matter, right? Like you don't really need it.
Well, you guys got me in trouble, I guess.
No, you should stay in the college. Yeah. It's good to like have a structure around life for that. Yes.
So. College is great for many things like friends and things like that, but
yeah, like a lot of the people in my team, my co-founders are from my college. Yeah. Like if I never went to college, I would have never met them. If I never met them, I would have never made it. Yeah. It's very important to have friends. We used to, try a lot of stuff in crypto in like a chat, and it's kind of like how everybody in crypto like starts it, right? Like a TG group with your friends. You're like, bro, that token is going, and then buy it, and everybody loses money, and then like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I guess next time you have a lecture going on, don't worry about all that. Sit in your hostel room, 5 of you, who start putting money and start like placing big bets and figuring out how to like make yield. No, I'm just kidding. No. These are all jokes, guys. Just kidding. So I have a couple more questions to ask, but I think now is probably a good time for me to pass the mic on to you guys. If you have any questions, if you want to just raise your hand and ask something. Wonderful. Behind you.
Community or the Web3 community without writing code, let's say, like creating content or something? Like how can we contribute to the Ethereum community or the Web3 community without writing code, right?
I think the simplest thing to do is to just explain things in a simple way, because a lot of things happen on, like, what is it? Crypto Twitter is like a reality show which happens every second of the time. Like every day you look at it, like some major chaos is happening and nobody knows what's happening. So the simplest thing you can do is just explain what it is. And if you do it like enough amount of time, you will understand what's happening. You will grow a following. It just loops all the way. That's kind of how I did a following. But that's it. Like, it's pretty simple. I mean, the thing is, like, you need to do it. It takes effort, and most of life is just effort. You need to just do it, and then you will just get it done. But half of the time, people just don't want to do it, because that's the thing.
Is there any way apart from content creation?
Oh, apart from content creation, I mean, what all do you know? You can do Discord moderation. You can go on Discord and then just like tell people. If people will have doubts, you can reply to them. I have made like a lot of friends doing just that. Like people ask stuff, I will just reply to them, and then like we just chat, and then we have friends. I have so many friends who don't even know their names, just know their handle, just because we found in some Discord, and we just talk about like stuff like, yeah.
Join a company as a co-founder, non-technical co-founder, and keep shilling about it.
But also there are like so many other career paths that you can take beyond just being a developer, right? Like for example, if you look at research, like there are so many ways that you can like, for example, if you're into economics and you want to look at like the issuance policy of Ethereum and think about, okay, like what are ways that you can contribute to this discussion around like how you can beat inflation, the whole debate about like inflationary versus deflationary economies, things like that. If you're from the arts or like humanities, I personally feel like there's a lot of interesting problems just around the ethnography of like people in the Ethereum community. You can ask anyone on the blockchain. I'm pretty sure just being in, like a 36-hour train with like a bunch of people in the Ethereum space will give them so many more insights into like, okay, how weird are human beings in Ethereum, right? Like there are like so many interesting things that you can study there. So I feel like Ethereum is not just for developers. You have like a wide array of things that you can do and ways to get noticed. Any other questions? Okay, if not, in the interest of time, maybe I can just give one last question for like everyone in the audience, for everyone in the panel to give their take on. One very common thing that I hear from students is, hey, I would love to be in Web3. I would love to like be in the Ethereum ecosystem, but how do I get the level of stability that I would get, for example, in a large big tech consulting firm, in a company whose treasury can just go by half overnight? Like, how do I navigate all these uncertainties? How do I navigate all these complexities that you have, which are Web3 specific? And what would be your word of advice for all of them?
Yeah, so in my case, I started working full-time in the crypto space from the start, so I'm not much familiar with the traditional structure, but yeah, you have to vet the crypto company that you are joining, so you can see like there's a track record of how much like the team is trusted, if they're not like regular scammers, or how much they have raised money in the past, so that would give you some sort of comfort before joining them. And also like if they have the token, if it's performing well, then there might be a thing. But yeah, if you are a developer, you don't have to care much about the tokenomics and stuff. You just have to see if the visions of your personal belief and the companies align. So if you can contribute well to the company, then that might be a good fit. Yeah, and in the long term, because most of the companies, or like there are DAOs, you can check on Etherscan, like the balance of the tokens are entirely on chain. So you can see like Uniswap DAO has this much tokens, or like some XYZ DAO has this much tokens. So you can get a gist of that before even applying for the jobs. So that's a nice benefit of the crypto ecosystem.
If you're looking for stability, I don't know. Crypto is unstable. It really is. And that's just part of the nature of it. I think that but big boring companies are so lame and boring, and you'll do so much work of just like digging ditches and filling them in. I think that there has to be some balance of finding something small enough, but where you can have impact and move the needle, but also like something that has some kind of a treasury and something that's going to be around for a while. And just be wary. Like if you're getting hired at the top of the bull market, like that, you may not have that job, and that's kind of scary. Like, yeah, maybe get hired in a bear market or something. Like, look at the economy and get hired while it's down. I don't know. Yeah, your advice was better. Mine is just like it's not very stable. Yeah.
I think for the context of India, I think crypto jobs are very good because like you get paid significantly more in a crypto company, though it is like an Indian company or outside. I mean, all crypto companies are worldwide. Like it's kind of like it's almost everywhere, and you do get like paid like almost all the time more. And all my friends who work in Web2, like it's kind of boring. They're doing the same thing again and again, reading data from a database and sending it to UI and then showing it. Like there is no. I mean, it's a lot of them feels very brain dead to me, maybe. But I think like it's the work is more fun because it's kind of like you're trying to solve problem and you can just see the results. So it's good, and it kind of pays more. And I don't know what is uncertainty over here, but like yeah, the price goes up, but most of the people who are in crypto kind of make more money, like than everyone we knew, like who were the other. But like if you're good at what you do, I mean, I assume everybody is good at what they do after a certain point of time. When they like get better over time. I mean, if you don't like it, if you're not good at what you do, I don't think crypto is like a good place. I think like you need to be philosophically aligned to it because it's gonna crash, and your whole portfolio is going to be 25% in a week, and the next week it will be I don't know, like Ethereum went from 2k to 4.5k in like 2 months. You are euphoric, and then once it goes from $4,000 to $800, I mean, if you associate your mental health with it, like you are screwed. So the right thing to do is like just be philosophical aligned, and salary and stuff is like better than normal companies. I think it's pretty good.
I would say like do a better due diligence before joining anything, but also don't stick up on like joining the top company. It's better joining somewhere than not joining elsewhere. So usually like these Web3 companies pay better, the work culture is good, but expect it to be chaotic. It will be really chaotic. And like if you're in for the thrill, if you're in for the philosophies, you'll enjoy working in a Web3 company.
Okay.
Also, yeah.
Okay, I know. Sorry.
Yeah, Gautam wants me to say that we'll also hire less people.
Yeah, like there is Hyperliquid. I think it's like $50 billion. They have 11 employees. Yeah. Like that's the size of crypto companies. Like if you're not really good, you won't get a job.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a company with the highest revenue to employee ratio.
Nice, awesome. So I know we're already out of time, but I have one last question that I'm sure is on all your minds right now. How would you explain what you do for work to your grandma? Like, how do you explain to your grandma what you do for a living when you're in crypto? You guys, yeah.
I told her that I teach people how to make fake internet money.
I don't know. She hasn't asked me. I don't think she cares. I think she thinks I work in some Dubai company, something like that.
Yeah, it's difficult to explain, but yeah, just I work in computers. That's the basic thing that they'll understand.
I just said I create money.
Awesome. Wonderful. So I hope you all had as much fun as I did, sitting in this panel. A huge thank you to all our panelists for taking the time to share these insights with us. And yeah, handing back the mic to Ashwin.
Yeah, shout out to Shyam for moderating this. Thank you so much, Shyam. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. And Gautam, I think we'll need you because you have something to share about perpetuals. So I will quickly grab